Hello everybody, this is Lara. I'm going to update my analysis of Bitcoin Cash with you, working through my list, which is now quite short. I should have that list finished of requests for extra analysis this week, early next week. Yeah, probably early next week. And then we'll have a new voting system, yay. I haven't updated or haven't looked at this market for nearly a year, so I've done a little bit of work updating my wave count already. And I'm just going to go through part of updating my Elliott wave count with you so that this video isn't too long. I start my Elliott wave count at this low. From this low to this high, I can see a leading expanding diagonal that meets all Elliott wave rules. I don't know where this is coming from, but there's some odd writings online about Elliott wave. One of the rules for a leading diagonal is subwaves 2 and 4 may only subdivide as zigzags, but subwaves 1, 3, and 5 of a leading diagonal most commonly subdivide as zigzags, but they may also appear to be impulses. So I'm labeling, because it has a better fit, intermediate 5 as an impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've had numerous times people comment in comments on my YouTube channel that for leading diagonal subwaves 1, 3 and 5 can't be zigzags. Well, I'm always go by the same rules as outlined in Frost and Prechter's classic Elliott wave principle. The rules for leading diagonals are very clear. All the subwaves are most commonly zigzags. So I don't know where that's coming from, but yeah. Okay, I'm going to focus this Elliott wave analysis on trying to identify if intermediate C could be over here, or could it need one more final low, because when I look at it from a cursory point of view, we could see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could need another low to complete it. So let's have a look at this structure at the daily chart level, because that's going to be the key for this analysis. Now here it is. Let's get some labels in here. I think I'm going to possibly agree with that. The strongest momentum, according to MACD, is here. Well, it's a lagging indicator, so here, this is the strongest downward momentum. This is also pretty strong, but, well, I don't want to see the third wave over here. So I think for this instance, the first wave was the strongest portion of downward movement. Okay, motive wave, I'll leave that labelling there. Let's see if that works. I may not agree with it, but let's see if it works. No, I want to see this over here. And this, maybe over here. But then is this going to subdivide as a 5-wave impulse? Because you've got to put this here. Oh yeah, it will. Okay. Yep, no problem with seeing this fifth wave has a curved look to it. There's a very long, strong downward movement at the end of it, and that strong downward movement, which would have been on the fifth wave to end the fifth wave, looks like it's ended with a strong increase in momentum, forcing the fourth wave that comes just in here to be more brief and shallow. It often gives these impulses for cryptocurrencies curved looks, so no problem with seeing a curved looking impulse there. It's a tendency you have to really wrap your head around in order to analyse these successfully. I think that looks okay, yep. And I think we're going to see an impulse in here. No problems. No, I want to put this here and this here. Yeah, that's going to fit. Fourth wave here. Ah, interesting. Okay, this doesn't fit. Okay, so this doesn't fit. Let's delete that. No, leave those child waves. I want to increase the degree of this. And I'm going to put this here and this here. And I think I need to move this down here, or maybe right down here. And see an extended third wave. Nope, I want to put this here. Yeah, that could be. Now we've got the strong downward spike, the end of a third wave, that fits. Yep. Okay. Some kind of combination in here, double zigzag combination, or is it a flat correction? Okay, this moves beyond the start of W. I think this is a flat, possibly an expanded flat. Yeah, that's going to fit fine. Nope, put that down there. and put this up here. A and B are both three-wave structures, as they must be within a flat. And this looks okay as a zigzag. Okay, is the third wave going to fit? I think it will. Oh, well, I guess, yeah, I guess it could be motive wave. But I'd put this here. Let's expand that out. I'm getting a bit squished up here. On that red candlestick there. And then I think I put this here. And that's going to fit quite nicely. No problems there. I think this more looks like some kind of leading diagonal. Motive wave says no, can't be. And I say you're right. Well, it can't be because the third wave is the shortest. I'm wondering if this fourth wave at minute degree could have been a triangle. That really would be pushing it. Okay, what if this is over here and then the second wave is a flat correction? I'm checking, is C moving beyond the end of A? Yes, it does. No truncation, no running flat. Yep, I think that's going to be fine. Okay, so the answer to the question is yes. Intermediate C could be complete, but I think it's also entirely possible it could need one more low, and I'm concerned that from this low to this high, this upward movement looks like a three-wave structure, not a five. The five could have been over here, and this could be part of an expanded flat. Let's look at some technicals. So this is going to be my conclusion. My target is for primary 3 to reach 11.06, the length of primary 1, that's an extreme Fibonacci ratio, at 17,350. I'm going to look at the technicals of this low and compare and contrast to this low. So this low down here, this is the December 2018 low. There's a huge bullish engulfing candlestick pattern off that low. Did it have support from volume? Yes, it did. That's extremely bullish. So, unsurprising that that low was sustained. On balance volume made lower lows after that low. That's another reason. I've seen it do that a few times on Bitcoin as well. And here we see it doing it on Bitcoin Cash. I read on balance volume as a leading indicator. So I would have read that as bearish. But price held up. You could read that as hidden bullish divergence, but I don't like hidden divergence. I'd rather read most of these indicators as leading indicators. So that didn't work. And that's another reason why I don't really like using divergence with on-balance volume. I'd rather use it when it breaks above resistance or support and gives a signal. If you do that, it also would have given a signal. Let's have a look here. If we bring a trend line, let's make this a different colour so we can see what we're doing. Can see a support line possibly sitting around, oh no, that's not very good. Maybe from that low there, sitting around there. So on balance volume would have broken below a long held support that had multiple tests here, and yet it didn't lead to new lows from price, and this low back here was sustained. So that would have been really difficult. That would have given a false signal shortly after that sustained low. ADX declining throughout that bear market, didn't catch up with the fact price was in a bear market, so it didn't reach extreme. RSI didn't reach oversold at the weekly chart level, nor did money flow index. It did indicate some bullish divergence though. The close here, 77.366, and the close for price here, 487. So price is closed a lot lower, and yet money flow is a lot higher. Was there bullish divergence with RSI? No, but there was with money flow. That's why I'm adding that in. It's a little bit more sensitive because it's like RSI, but it adds in volume as part of its calculation. ATR declining throughout that bear market, very flat off those lows, declining a little bit further in the early stages of the bull market. It's not toward the end of the bull market that ATR shows an increase. Okay, so that was the weekly chart level for that low. Let's look at the daily chart level for that low. At the daily chart level, there is a bullish engulfing candlestick pattern, but it's really small. It did have push from volume though. a little bit of an increase in volume, but within a few sessions, volume absolutely starts to rocket up. Quite volatile, this market. So volume supported upward movement off the low, that's bullish. On balance volume made lows with price, and the daily chart level did not make lower lows. It was only at the weekly chart level. ADX at the daily chart level reached very extreme for that downward trend, well above 45 and above both DX lines. RSI reached deeply oversold. There was no bullish divergence, and RSI was oversold for quite a while. RSI moves into oversold territory here when price closed at 336. Several days later, the final low on a closing basis at 77, a lot lower. So price can move a large distance after RSI reached oversold at the daily chart level. But remember, it didn't reach oversold at the weekly chart level. So this downward trend was extreme and conditions were very oversold at the daily chart level at that low. There was bullish divergence between money flow index and price between these lows here and here. Price closes lower, money flow index is higher. ATR declines throughout the end of this bear market. There's weakness in this, or a declining volatility as the bear market comes to an end. It lags and then it starts to increase as the bull market takes off. Stochastics remained oversold for most of the end of that bear market. Let's compare and contrast to the last low, the current low. There's some reasonable support here about 108, and then below that there's further reasonable support, strong support about 74. At the weekly chart level, there's a dragonfly doji at the low. That's a bullish candlestick reversal pattern. And then there's a bullish candlestick for the next following week. What about volume? What happened? Volume did not support upward movement off that low. For these cryptocurrencies, I've seen sustained lows where volume is quite weak, but it is really nice to see, and you can have more confidence in the lows if volume does support movement off lows. Here it doesn't, and volume remains really light currently at the weekly chart level. On balance, volume is essentially flat, so there's a nice range here. We could put a resistance and support line along here and look for a breakout, and that could provide a signal. Prices in a bit of a consolidation at the moment, it looks like. ADX is currently declining. There's no clear trend. It didn't reach extreme for the downward trend, but it did strongly indicate a trend for that downward bear market down to that low. And RSI reached oversold. Is this the first time it's done that? Yes, that is very bullish. This is the most oversold this market has been at the weekly chart level at that last low. So that's quite bullish. Money flow index also reached oversold after the low. ATR continues to decline. That's okay, that's normal around lows for these markets. They tend to move up off their lows quite slowly. And stochastics was oversold at the low. What about the daily chart level? At the daily chart level, there is a nice bullish engulfing candlestick pattern. Volume was 1.2 billion. The previous session, volume was 1.2. So volume was even. And then the next session, another upward session, volume starts to show an increase. Well, the volume bars, the numbers, I'm looking at the numbers at the bottom of my screen. So there was actually push from volume on that session. Okay, well that is really good to see. So that's quite bullish. So a candlestick reversal pattern, dragonfly doji on the weekly chart, bullish engulfing on the daily chart. On the daily chart, it has push from volume. That's very good to see. And it was oversold at the weekly chart level, that downward movement. On balance volume making higher highs with price, making higher highs prior to price. So this is bullish. We could draw a resistance line here. On balance volume's broken above it. Let's put that in. This is how I prefer to use on balance volume. There's a nice resistance line, check resistance, break up, check support, move up and away. So this is bullish from on balance volume, very bullish. ADX currently indicating an upward trend? No, it's too low, it's below 15. For the previous downward trend, it got very extreme, well above 50 and above both DX lines, so that downward trend was very extreme. RSI reached oversold and then has exhibited double bullish divergence between price. From this low, this low, this low, these 3 points, there'll be bullish divergence between price and RSI. Not so with money flow index. Oh no, there is, I'm sorry. There is. From this point back here to here to here to here, quite strong bullish divergence, but money flow didn't reach oversold. ATR declining at the end of that bear market. Shows a tiny little levelling off and almost an uptick at the end, but not really. Slow off the low, starting to show some increase as price starts to move higher here. Stochastics also exhibited bullish divergence at the low. I think there is enough technical evidence to indicate that this low could very well be sustained for Bitcoin Cash, and I would have some reasonable confidence in this Elliott wave count. That doesn't mean I have confidence in the target. I'm always really iffy about my targets for cryptocurrencies, because that last major high for Bitcoin in 2017, when I was analysing it every day, it blew away all of my targets. I ended up just using classic analysis to try and identify that high. So these targets come with a strong caution that they are highly provisional. They're just a stab in the dark, really. I'd much rather rely on a complete Elliott wave count and technical evidence of a high in place rather than use a target. But it's just an idea of where it could possibly go, if that makes sense. Okay, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you everyone so much for your support of my membership at Pure Elliott Wave and all of the subscribers and commenters on the YouTube channel. I really appreciate you all.